Today we're going to be talking about how to apply our solfege that we learned with our major scale into an actual assignment, exercises that we can use moving forward. Now, if you look over here, this solfege notation number 1, all of our assignments at this time are going to be in C major. C major is a great key signature for us to start. There's no sharps, there's no flats, and it's really easy to play on the piano because it is all white keys. So as long as you start on C, and you move on up, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You can play each one of these on your own. Now, if you look over here, I have already notated number 1. As we get further along in our subject matter, we'll be talking about key signatures, and that really depends on how many sharps and flats there are, and that affects what our do is. For right now, we have C major, which means there are no sharps or flats, and that means that C here is our do. Now, what we do is we go through and we analyze each one of these notes to kind of figure out where they are. So this first note is C, and we know that's our do, and this whole first measure is do. So this whole first measure is, let's get our pitch. Do, 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 do. You'll also notice that these exercises are all quarter notes. We don't want to mess with our rhythm quite yet. We're working on building in these intervals and the way the pitches are related to each other. It matters how high and low you sing. I cannot emphasize this enough. You can't just go do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Absolutely not. Canceled. You have to sing it precisely. Do, 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 do. Singing it the same note every single time. Now in this next measure we get some action, all right? In this next measure, measure 2, we get do, then we move up to the D here, which will be re. It's one note above it, so we move one note up that scale of do, re, mi. So we have do, then re, this E is mi, then we have an F for fa. And again, the pitch matters. Sing this with me. Do, re, mi, fa. Sing it with me again. Make sure you are matching that pitch. We talked about this earlier. No sawtooth. It should sound just like me. Here we go. Again and sing. Do, re, mi, fa. Mi, fa. Mi, fa is a tricky one. Good. Measure 3. We move one up from fa to so. Notice how all of these are in stepwise motion. Each one of these are right next to one another. This first example is a great, easy one to start with because each of these notes are right next to one another. And so it makes it easy for me to write in the solfege. I go all the way through re, do, re, do. Let's sing through that whole exercise now. Exercise 1. Again, making sure we keep our pitch accurate. And one way that we can do that is by going to musictheory.net/tools. And if you scroll down here, you can actually get your own little pop-up piano wherever you want to go, wherever you want to be, you have a pop-up piano. And it has our C notated. All right, so we have our C. Let's try it together. Ready, set, and go. Do, 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 re, mi, fa, sol, so, fa, mi, re, do, re, do. Very good, very good. This whole first page, everything is all in stepwise motion. In fact, I think most of this first exercise is in stepwise motion until the very end. So let's look at exercise 16. Exercise 16 is where we start getting some interesting material. Exercise 16 starts on do, but then we don't have D, so it's not moving by stepwise. If you look over here at our piano, there's no D. Instead, it goes up to E. So if C is do, D is re, that means the next note is mi. So we write in mi, and then the same thing again. We skipped another note. We moved up from mi to so. Come on, movie recording, get out of the way. There we go. From mi to so. So we have mi, so. And we remember from earlier that C is still do, so we have do. Now, when we get into these skips, a couple of tricks for singing on skips. We have the way of omission. So for this first one, do, re, mi, the re, we can still sing it, And here's a trick. You go do, re, mi, do, re, mi. Then sing the re in your head. So it's do, mi, do, mi. And you can do the same thing with mi, so. Mi, fa, so, mi, fa, so, mi, so, mi, so. Really getting that inner working going. So this whole first example here is do, mi, so, do. Again, the pitch matters. And if you need to double check, you have this beautiful pop-up piano right here where you can play it on your own. All right? And the rest of this example goes through quite a few little jumps and skips around, but that is something that you are going to need to practice on your own. Singing solfege is easy enough when you're working on it in little tiny chunks. Break down these into little tiny chunks, just like we did with measure 1, or measure 1 of 16. Breaking them down with omission. So if you're trying to figure out those intervals, sing the ones you know. We know the whole scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And then just start cutting out stuff you don't need. Do, mi, so, do. Singing it inside of your head. All right? So, most of your assignments from here on out are going to be solfege notation. And what you'll need to do is practice each one of these exercises a few times. Bathe yourself in singing in solfege in C major. Double check with the piano. Use this online piano tool to double check those pitches because the pitch matters. If you start going off on the pitch and you don't have that tonal center, then you're not singing solfege, you're just singing a bunch of random hoo-ha. You need to focus on singing the correct pitches. And I know you can do it because you're a San Dimas saint and you can sing great. So, get to practicing, write in that notation, and I'll see you next time.